I love the DeLorean, and I also love Volvos, especially the 262 Bertone. But they both had one thing in common that was absolutely horrible. The French. So, they both had a joint venture engine. I don't know why DeLorean chose this engine, but let me give you a bit of the history. Volvo, Renault, and Peugeot decided to get together and try to make themselves a V8. Now, a whole bunch of things happened, and the French, being the surrendering people that they are, they decided to back out when things got a little bit too difficult and lopped off 2 cylinders, making it an incomplete engine with bad oil passages, just really generally poorly designed. Now, I think that's really disappointing considering that it gave us one of the most iconic movie cars of all time. So today, we're going to make a flying DeLorean. Now, out of all bodies, these were kind of the closest bodies I could find to an actual DeLorean. It's unfortunate, but it'll have to do. So we're gonna go with a steel outer and a monocoque, but because we can't make the monocoque out of fiberglass, we're gonna make it out of carbon fiber instead. Now, the reason why fiberglass isn't an option here, but carbon fiber is, because only an idiot would make a monocoque out of fiberglass. So we're gonna go with a mid-longitudinal double wishbone. Now we're gonna create the engine that was meant to exist. This is the version of the engine that they use, a 91 and a 73, but we're gonna go with a flat plane V8 instead. And luckily these millimeters are very round, and it gives us nearly a 3.8 liter V8, which is a pretty decent engine. Not a huge American V8, but for the rest of the world it was pretty good. And I believe it had direct acting overhead cams, aluminium heads, cast iron, cast, and cast. Now these originally came with mechanical fuel injection. I don't know whether they came with that in the DeLorean, but we're gonna run with it anyway. Oh, mechanical fuel injection, how much I will always love thee. Probably a regular leaded for back in the day. That's a lot of knocking. Anywhere up to 10.5 to 1. Damn, I cannot get this to work. I mean, I'd have to run it on super leaded for that, but we're not going to. I do like the look of this. This looks really, really good. Let's give it a bit of a listen to our mechanically fuel injected flat plane crank V8, the engine that Volvo was meant to have. Yeah, it sounds alright. I do have 2 mufflers on it, so it is a little bit quieter than what you would normally want from a supercar. And for the paint, steel. Or do we go with like a brushed aluminium because that looks closer? Nah, we are gonna go with steel. There we go. Nice, pretty good. We're gonna go with a rear-wheel drive, and because it's a DeLorean, it's probably an automatic. They may have been able to get a hold of a 4-speed, so we're just gonna say that it's got that. Hold on, let's check that out. It came in a manual. Nice. How many gears? A 5-speed manual. Okay, because I'm hell not going with a 3-speed automatic. Screw that shit. And we're gonna put a viscous LSD in it. The tires are gonna be radial medium compounds, because that fits the tread pattern that we see. It doesn't fit a sport or a semi-slick, so yeah. Magnesium wheels probably. Solid disc on the front, solid disc and 2-piston on the rear. Sport and no entertainment, because that's gonna be ripped out for the brand new time thingy. I don't know, whatever. And safety on these, I remember them not being particularly great, so we're gonna down that for our amusement. Standard, gas monotube doesn't particularly matter, and then we are going to select sport, but raise it up a lot. Raise it up? Why, you may ask? Well, let me tell you. Does this give you a bit of a hint? How about this? Does that give you a hint? Except for the fact that I can't get flying wheels. So we're gonna actually try doing a little bit of translation on the positioning of the original wheels to try to get them to fit this area. But now we're gonna delete that. We're gonna bring this back so then we can at least have a look at what our wheels are. These ones, as far as I can tell, are the most fitting for what the DeLorean had. So yeah, we'll run with that. For now, our drivetrain can be a lot longer, though it's only gonna reach 88 miles per hour before the thing basically just becomes an utterly useless mess. That looks about right for the DeLorean, except the rear tires are not that big. So we have 195s and 235s. That gives us crazy oversteer. What the hell? Okay, well, we can't go with the original then. We're gonna have to give this thing more understeer. Our brakes could be better. Look, now they're better. I'm actually genuinely making a non-terrible vehicle. Like, sure, the mileage isn't great, but it's kind of meant to be like a supercar, so I mean, what do you expect? Now, 4.9 to 100, even though the thing is really tall. All right, let's go make the rest of this thing look like a DeLorean. Yay, do you like my knockoff DeLorean? Sugoi, yes? Oh dear, this thing looks bad. But at least you get the idea, and it's got the Mr. Fuzzy up the top, and we're gonna put on the wheels. I'm not gonna bother doing like hours and hours upon work to get the wiring and all that kind of stuff up, because that would take way too long. As long as we can look similar, like, yeah, we're in the ballpark. Oh, that's right, it has skull wing doors. Oh yeah, and mirrors. It has mirrors as well. What does automation reckon it could do being incredibly tall around a test track? It reckons a 222, which is not horrible, especially considering this thing only generates 177 kilowatts. Interesting. So we have done one minor adjustment, and that is to just change the camber. So you can see here we've got 70 degrees camber, and we've turned the brake calipers. No, the suspension off. Wait, hold on. Is the suspension not off? Oh, I turned brake calipers off. Whoops. Anyway, now we have to figure out which one of these is height and which one of these is inboardness. We only want it to really go up, and I think the inboard is fine for now. There we go. We're doing quite well now. But you may be wondering, why doesn't it just fall flat on its nose? Well, that's because technically all I did was move the flex body, not the actual mesh itself. So the wheel's still there. Oh no! I didn't realize that was gonna happen. Well, this has all failed. Oh, bugger. Well, plan B. Well, plan A, technically. This was plan B, because I wanted to see whether plan B was better than my first idea. Okay, well, we're just gonna have to make those tires invisible, and instead run a spare wheel. And we will also then be able to easily put on the thing that holds the wheel in place. This kind of structure here that you don't actually see in the movie itself. The movie itself, you don't really see it. You see it in the poster, sure, but not quite in the movie itself. It also changes a lot between different things. There we go. That'll work. And we know how to edit out wheels already. It's a thing we've done in the past. I just wish that I was able to do it the other way, because I do like the treads on it. Treads make them look so much better. Unfortunately, I couldn't find like proper spare wheels or anything, so there was nothing I could do to like move a wheel out. I swear it won't look like this. Yeah, there we go. Except I should probably take out the rear spindle axe, whatever those things are. But aside from that, we have got ourselves a flying DeLorean. Yes. Now, what's 88 miles an hour in kilometers an hour? Okay, we got to get up to 88 miles per hour. And how long do we think it'll take? Okay, that was quite slow off the line, but we're getting there. Second gear, 50, 60, 70. God, this actually does take quite a while. There we go. We reached 88 almost. Wait, hold on. Did that not? Oh, that only went up to 62. That means I'm gonna have to try to hard time this with my phone. All right, time to bring out the hard timer. God damn it. All right, clutch in. We're gonna rev it up. And 3, 2, 1, go. Come on. Get me up to the speed I want. You can do it. I know you can. 70, 88. There we go. 8.95 seconds. You know what? That's pretty impressive. Considering that it's 0 to 100 for a car that was meant to be, I mean, I did set this to 90s, but still, 5.23 seconds? That's Ferrari territory, and this thing does not have much power. I love this so much. If I could turn off the tread mark leaving thing, this would be absolutely awesome, because it looks like it's floating around because of the whole, like, flying thing. That's so awesome. Oh, you know what? This does make me giggle. And there's not a whole lot to do with this vehicle, because it is kind of like a one-trick pony type thing. But all of that work just for this, I would say it's worth it. You know, we might actually go back. We might put a chassis in to hide the fact that we had to remove the chassis, so then we don't have little dingly suspension parts hanging down, because automation doesn't know how to do those sorts of things. But for now, let's just see this thing properly fly. Woo! Oh, okay, well that sucked. Damn it! Oh, shit! You know what? It actually kind of looks like it's flying a little bit. That is kind of cool. Well, I was disappointed at first, but you know what? It's turned it around for me. Can you stop now? Landed on its wheels? Like a glove. All right, let's try a different launch area. Let's try over here, maybe. Okay, and away we go, and our flying Mr. Fuzzied future car. Damn it! Ah! Is there anywhere to like properly jump off anymore? Not by the looks of it. Maybe if I was to line up this way. And because it gets so much power down and it does that drifting thing, it looks like it's floating. It's so cool. Well, that didn't work quite out as planned. Stop embarrassing me! Will it never end? Maybe it'll end if we come here and try to do ourselves a bit of a hot lap. Sure, I say hot lap, but in honesty, I'm not really taking this car completely seriously. As you can see, I made it like super tall. I didn't try to do any sort of trickery. It was just a straightforward, make it tall, make the wheels invisible, and do a thing. I'm not taking this serious. I'm going with a very low, weird, off-angle angle. I probably could have recorded this with the in-game recorder and then done this afterwards. I was looking at the car. I do like the look of this car from behind. Like, look at that angle. That is a sexy, sexy angle. And yeah, I mean, I spin it. It doesn't really matter. I just keep going. The problem was when I went to the slingshot, I had a bit of a whoopsie and, well, I wasn't going to just keep going. I wanted to give it a half-decent try, so we restarted. Now, because a tall car like this is a spin hazard, you are going to see me spin, but it doesn't particularly matter. I just wanted to get a lap down, get a feel for the car, know what it is that I'm driving. This was, even though it was really dorky, a really fun car to have. No, the handling is not so much the fun aspect here. The fun aspect is that it's a flying car. It felt really good. And we may as well give it a Doug score whilst we're going around this proper lap. I mean Phil score. Okay, starting with the weekend category. The styling of this DMC knockoff is still passable, low slung, but the whole flying aspect gives it an 8 out of 10. The acceleration is okay at 5.2 seconds to 100 kilometers an hour, but it doesn't feel fast, so it gets a 7 out of 10. The handling is problematic for hovercrafts like this, so it gets a 3 out of 10. The fun factor, however, is huge here. Everybody has had a dream of flying. It gets a 10 out of 10. The cool factor is equally as large. No one is going to look at this and say, if you've seen one flying guy, you've seen them all. They will take pictures. It gets a 10 also, giving it a total weekend score of 43. Then moving on to its daily score. Regular features that you'd expect in a car like this are just straight up missing, but it makes up with it for the ability to go over traffic, and to also stop yourself from saying that stupid thing from 10 years ago. It gets a 7 out of 10. The comfort is high here, much like Santa's sleigh, riding literally on air. It gets an 8 out of 10. As for quality, using a French engine is always a bad idea. But if you can repair this with 1855 technology, then it gets a thumbs up from me. It gets a 6 out of 10. I can't completely excuse the French. Practicality is also compromised with the engine in the rear, only having 2 seats, and the front being full of petrol tank and a spare wheel. It gets a 3 out of 10. Now, the value for this may not seem high if you've made it in your own garage, but some weapons manufacturers will probably want to buy this for a few million or even $1 billion. So it gets a 10 out of 10. But the ongoing costs. The technology that was meant to be here some 5 years ago has not come to fruition. Getting parts to keep it flying will be problematic, but with it literally running on garbage, it gets a 5 out of 10. To help balance out those 2 counterpoints. This gives it a total daily score of 39. Add them all up and you get a total fill score of 82. Surprisingly, it gets second place, which shouldn't be that surprising as it's much better than a motorbike at getting through traffic. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Tomorrow's video will hopefully be something really, really special. And I will catch you tomorrow, hopefully. Goodbye!